So you start a new plan on Monday. You're excited. You're motivated. You've got the app downloaded. You've got your food ready. You're thinking, this is finally going to be the one that works. And then somewhere around week 2 or so, maybe sooner, maybe a little later, you're head first in the pantry or the fridge again. If this has happened to you more times than you can count, I want you to know that it is not because you're lazy or weak or not motivated enough. Something else is going on. And that's what we're talking about today.
Welcome to the Biking Wellness Podcast. I'm your host, Stacy Smith, and I lost 50 pounds riding my bike by focusing on what my body can do. Now, I teach other women how to do the same. I am obsessed with completely flipping the script on weight loss so that we can work out to feel good and feel strong. If you are ready to stop dieting, learn how to appreciate your body, and have fun riding your bike, you're in the right place. Let's dive in.
Hello, my friend. Welcome back to the podcast. And if you're just joining us for the first time, a special warm welcome to you. Welcome to the Biking Wellness community. I am so glad that you are here. Okay, so today's episode is one that I think is going to make a lot of you feel really seen. I think that's what the kids are saying these days anyway, feeling seen. Because I want to talk about something that happened to me over and over again growing up and into my adult life for decades, for years. And I know that it's happening to you too, because my clients are telling me about it all of the time. It's this pattern of starting a plan, starting a diet, being excited about it, keeping it up for maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks if you're lucky, and then just falling off completely, and then spending weeks or months feeling guilty about it before you muster up the energy, the gumption, the willpower to try it all over again. And then you do the same thing over and over, and you are in this cycle of gaining and losing weight. I lived this for most of my adult life, and I want to talk about why it happens because it's probably not what you think. And before I get into it, I want to let you know that I'm working on a brand new challenge for the lead up to summer. I am so excited. Details are coming soon, but if you want to make sure you don't miss anything, go to sassy.com/challenge. That's SASCY.com/challenge and get on the wait list. And I'll also put a link for that in the show notes so that you can get on the wait list and just tap right through. I want you to be the first one to know when everything drops because it's going to be super fun. Okay, let's get into it. First of all, week 1, usually of a diet, a plan feels amazing. And honestly, that's actually part of the problem. Let me take you back to what this used to look like for me. I decided I was going to lose weight. I was all in. I was excited. I thought this diet, this program, this app was going to be the one that finally worked. I was going to do it right this time because clearly I had just been lazy before. I wasn't motivated enough. I wasn't strong enough. But this time was going to be different. I will never forget, oh my gosh, how excited I was to officially start Weight Watchers for the first time. I had photocopied friends' materials and stuff like that in the past. And now I was like, okay, this is going to work for me. I'm going to go all in and I'm going to do it for myself and I'm going to pay for it. I'm not going to be eating someone's hand-me-down Nutrisystem food this time that tasted like cardboard, which, by the way, that's why those boxes kept getting passed around between family members and friends, because someone somewhere would be duped into buying the program. They'd abandon it because the food was terrible. And then they'd pass the leftovers on to the next person who was trying to lose weight because Nutrisystem tasted like actual cardboard. And again, my Gen X people, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But here's the thing is that even if the food tasted okay, why would you always want to be eating food out of little cardboard boxes and packages? Growing up, my Grammy made some of the most amazing things, and there is no way that I wasn't going to be eating myself silly when she made roast beef for Sunday dinner. No way. Roast beef, mashed potatoes, gravies, and, multiple helpings of it. And, honestly, that was part of my problem too. Food has always been such a comfort to me. I love food, and my family loves food, and it's all tied together. There would be this pile of snacks in my grandparents' kitchen that was absolutely legendary. And then there would be all of this homemade stuff on top of it. From a really early age, I had no idea what it felt like to have, just enough food or just be satisfied, even when I was. I didn't ever feel like I had enough food unless I was so full that I literally couldn't eat another bite and I had to unbutton my pants. So when you take that reality and then you give someone like me a nasty tasting thing, like the tiny little lean cuisine, forget it. There was just never going to be enough food for me. This was never going to work long term. It wasn't going to work for me, and it wasn't going to work for anyone who actually loves food and has all of these memories and feelings tied to it. So anyway, I digress. Back to Weight Watchers. I had all of the things. I had all of the materials, like that little wallet thing. This was back when you had to handwrite everything in. I'm dating myself, I know, but trust me, I'm sure that you remember what I'm talking about. Nothing was online yet. I was pouring through these little booklets. They had all these booklets about like how many points different foods were. And there was like the McDonald's booklet. And we all know that I love my McDonald's. And I was looking up how many points were in my supersized meal and doing the math on how many points I would have to save up for that. And it was a lot of points, my friends. And I was thinking, okay, I can do this. This is the sensible program. This is the one that lets me eat my favorite foods. Let's go. This is going to work. And week one was usually great. I was plugging everything in. I was being so good. I was motivated. But here's what already was happening underneath all of the excitement. I was hungry. I was spending so much time tracking everything, restricting during the week to try to save up my points for the weekend. I was getting in my head about whether or not I should eat my exercise calories. And I was underfueling myself for the extra movement I had decided I needed to do to burn off the calories. I was so hungry the day after any hard workout, but there weren't enough points or calories in my fitness pal or whatever I was doing to satisfy my hunger. And so I was just white knuckling it. And, like I said, we're all Gen X women here. We have survived some things. Low fat everything, spray. I can't believe it's not butter. That like Lotta butter that I think they just added a bunch of water to in the 80s. Slim Fast, Jenny Craig, Nutrisystem, Lean Cuisine, Weight Watchers, frozen meals. I don't think I've ever in my life eaten a frozen diet dinner and felt satisfied afterwards because they just taste bad and they are not filling, especially when you grew up in a family where food was love and your Grammy's Sunday roast beef was what satisfaction actually felt like. So week one, I would feel amazing. I'd feel so motivated because I was running on, pure adrenaline, motivation, and excitement that this was the thing that was finally going to work. But the cracks, they were definitely already there. I just couldn't see them yet, which is what brings me to week two, when reality hits and when you think, okay, I got to keep going with this. The weekend would come and I'd be so tired and exhausted from being good all week, from working out all week, from working all week, from tracking every single thing that went into my mouth. And I would go out with my husband and I would have zero control and I would feel like I deserved a treat. And then the next morning I would feel like I totally blew it. I would feel so guilty and I would just end up eating more because why not? I already screwed up. I might as well just give up. Sometimes I could make it for a couple of weeks, but a lot of times it was just that 1 week. And then I'd throw up my hands and give up over and over again until I mustered up the energy, often months down the road after I'd gained a bunch more weight, to try it all over again with the next plan. And honestly, my big problem with Weight Watchers was that there were never enough points for me. I liked to eat and I liked to eat a lot. I hadn't learned how to eat when I was hungry and stop when I had enough. I wasn't ever satisfied until I felt stuffed. So if I was going to restrict all week, my weekend needed to be good. And there were never enough points for that either. And I just figured there was something absolutely horribly wrong with me. So many women had success on Weight Watchers. If I couldn't do this program, the sensible one that supposedly let me eat all my favorite foods, then what the heck was ever going to work for me? So I would give up. And I'd tell myself that I was apparently just meant to be overweight and feel bad about myself until I can muster up the willpower to restrict like crazy and do it all over again. And I know if you're listening, chances are you can relate to this on some level too. And my pattern was that the only time I could ever lose weight, quote unquote, long term was over the summer when I wasn't working, when I was off teaching, when I had more time to go to the gym and more time to watch what I was eating and eat healthy foods and make healthy foods. It seemed like the only time I could keep weight loss up for more than a couple of weeks was during the summer. But then life would happen. I'd be back at work in the fall, stress would build up again, and I would start making myself, feel better with food again. I actually had a coworker years ago who did the exact same thing. He would always come back from the summer all tan and slimmed down and happy. And then as the year went on, he would get bigger and bigger from the stress and the constant go, go, go of the school year. So what I'm trying to say is that if this is you, if you keep starting strong and falling off by week 2, I need you to really hear me on this. If you're multitasking, please come back to me. Please listen. This is not your fault. It's not because you don't have enough willpower. It's not because you're lazy. It's not because you love food too much. It's because the plan wasn't your plan. It wasn't made for you. It wasn't made for you and your life. It was built for that, week 1 excitement where you're all in. It was built for a version of you that doesn't have a job, doesn't have kids or grandkids or stress, and doesn't love McDonald's and doesn't have a Grammy whose Sunday roast beef was better than anything that ever came out of a cardboard box. And when real life shows up, and it always does around week 2, the plan falls apart. It's not you. It is the diet. It is the plan. And this is what happened for me for years. And I thought that it was all my fault. And I finally realized it's not my fault. I have plenty of desire to lose weight. I just need to find a completely different way to do it. A way that doesn't involve tracking or points or restriction or sad little frozen dinners that left me hungrier than before I ate them. I needed a way that actually worked with my life, with my love of food, instead of working against me and working against it. Okay, my friend, if you're listening to this and you're thinking, she's literally describing my life, I want you to know something. There is nothing wrong with you. There is nothing wrong with your attempts. You are not the problem. You are not the kind of person who just can't lose weight. You've just been trying to force yourself into plans and diets that were never designed for you and the way that you live. And I'm working on a brand new challenge right now that is going to help you for the lead up to summer. It is going to help you feel good and feel strong and like you can actually do this. You can actually lose your weight for the last time. I am so excited about it. Details are coming soon. And if you want to make sure you don't miss it, please go to sassy.com/challenge. That's sassy.com/challenge and get on the wait list. I will put a link for it in the show notes so you can just tap right through. And I want to make sure that you are the first to know about this so that you can get started and that you can feel good and feel strong. If this episode hit home for you today, please share it with a friend. Share it with a woman in your life who keeps starting over and keeps feeling like she is the problem. I promise you, and I promise her, she is not the problem and she needs to hear that. Thank you so much, my friend, for being here for another episode. I am here and I am cheering for you every single step of the way. Talk soon.
Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of the Biking Wellness Podcast. Be sure to head on over to sassy.com/guide, sasscy.com/guide, to get my completely free lose weight biking quick start guide so that you can get started with simple, doable weight loss today. That's sasscy.com/guide.